Hey, welcome to a new video. Today we're in a very special place. This is possibly one of the biggest car collections in Japan. I'm at AMG's Vantec and this is the Vantec collection. So the crazy thing about this collection is that it probably spans close to 200 cars. And today, the owner has given me free reign. We're in here all by ourselves and we have probably some of the most incredible cars in Japan to kind of look at, nerd out on, and show you guys all the details.
Ever since the van Schupan 962C surfaced in Japan more than a decade back, the AMG's Vantec collection started getting quite the coverage. It doesn't matter how many times you visit Moroi-san's collection, it never gets old. There always seems to be something new to drool over. What makes it especially interesting is the variety. I love seeing Japan's rarest Kyushas like Hakosukas and the ever-expanding number of Toyota 2000 GTs, mixed together with rare and important race cars from Europe and the US.
So, before we get going, checking out what is behind me, I just kind of wanted to show you how the cars are kept. So this is the second floor of a very large warehouse. Extremely safe, of course, because how are you going to come here and steal cars if you can't bring them down? Of course, there is an elevator, but that's all like with key and everything, so super secure. Each of the cars here are usually covered. The owner has ordered, I guess batch ordered, all these kind of very soft, kind of suede type, even kind of feels like silk covers, and we've been given the okay to take them off, shoot each car, shoot whatever we want, and then put them back. So I'm going to try and kind of like show you all the interesting stuff that is here, and I have to be a little bit selective. I'm just going to concentrate on the really important, kind of hard-hitting stuff like this. Can you guess what this is? And of course, I think it's only right to start with the car that has really made this collection so well known around the world. This is the Schupan 962 Porsche, road registered race car basically. A car that we all shot probably 10 years ago now. I did a feature on it for Speed Hunters, we shot it for Motorhead. Luke Huxham did a video for Motorhead, so it's a very well known and respected car. And when I worked with Top Gear, the TV show, in 2017, we actually got Moroi-san to bring this car to the Hakone Turnpike, where it was driven and kind of filmed. So, I have a bit of a special relationship with this thing, and we're just gonna go ahead and kind of lift this and enjoy what is one of the most incredible Porsches to ever be made. So one of the really cool aspects about the Vantec collection is that on this far corner of the actual storage area, they've set up a couple of lifts, and there's some full-time mechanics that basically look after all the cars in the collection, and we're going to have a little wander around to see what is being worked on today. We have very, very special stuff here, guys. Like, this is beyond ridiculous, starting off with this F1 car. This is an old Williams Judd powered F1 racer. None other than Nigel Mansell drove this. Absolutely incredible. So this car has been here for a while. I think it came here when Larry and I filmed for Haggerty 1 year plus ago, and it's looking almost ready to be put together. Look at this, guys. Judd V8, naturally aspirated goodness. Look at those headers. Look at the quality of the piping, even on the radiators. The rear brakes, the transaxle. It's got the Williams casting mark there. Absolutely incredible stuff. You got the front brakes. And that front view. Oh my God, this is insane. So on top of the Rothman's car, Moroi also has the Advan 962 that participated in the JGTC series back in the mid-90s. Luckily enough, the car is here for maintenance in this particular era of the workshop, so we can actually indulge in seeing that beautiful flat six in all its glory. Old school turbocharger going on. You have the turbos hanging out here on the very side, fed by the exhaust manifolds on each bank. Intercoolers are pretty short piping so that they can, you know, connect to the hand-built intake manifold. And then just the whole layout of the thing, the sheer dimensions of it, it's so wide. You got the inboard mounted suspension anchored right there on the gearbox. You got your oil tank for the dry sump lubrication, and those massive external wastegates that dump on the second pipe there. You can imagine the flames that came out of this thing. So this was driven by Kunimitsu-san and Dickens back in the day, and what a thing. I'm literally getting goosebumps just looking at this thing. Absolutely incredible.
The collection has a dedicated workshop where mechanics work full-time at restoring and at times truly rebuilding cars of all types. The cool thing is that Moroi-san enjoys driving his prized possessions, and I've personally seen him out at Fuji Speedway with the 2000 GT race car and his ex-JGTC Advan 962C. But the coolest outing of another special car in his collection was during one of the last Motorhead hill climb events at the Hakone Turnpike, when he brought out his race Ford GT40. I remember grabbing some shots of it just as the sun was rising on a very cold autumn day.
Hey, sorry to interrupt the video. I just wanted to kind of let you guys know that we have a merch shop available. I haven't really done a good job at promoting it, but we do sell some high quality prints. We do have t-shirts, hoodies, and these caps. And you can see DCD Garage there in the back, starting with the GTR. We do have plans to release more t-shirts for the other cars in the channel, and you know, make sure you check it out, support the channel, pick up some stickers, hats, t-shirts, and help support the content from Japan. Anyway, back to the video. And there's so many parts laid out here on the floor. I'll have to wait until Moroi-san arrives so he can kind of talk us through what some of these are for. There's a transaxle transmission here from TWR. I'm not sure whether that belongs in the F1 car or not. There's a 930 turbo here, waiting for some maintenance. As we go through this area here, there's more stored cars. Again, like I mentioned, this is a very interesting collection because, you know, you have some very, very important cars from history. That goes for road cars and race cars. And at the same time, you have some things that are really surprising, like as we will kind of see even from now on, and we have seen so far, you know, there's little interesting things here and there, like the G-Wagon converted Suzuki Jimny, and all the little AZ ones that are dotted around now that Moroi-san thinks that, you know, they're going to be the next big thing when it comes to K cars, which I totally agree, by the way. So he's literally picking up all the cool stuff. And then you find old 911s, more interesting Mercedes to look at here. Nice little Cosworth Evo. Again, I'm not sure if this is the real one because Moroi-san's company, Auto Roman, actually does a FRP conversion that will take your 190E and convert it to the Evo. So we will probably end up doing a whole video on Auto Roman in the future, but maybe there are some cars here that actually run, you know, his conversion. Maybe after I uncover this, I'll figure out if it's actually real or not, but just to kind of let you know, that's also another part of the big Vantec group. You go down here, there's a few more Ferraris. Lotus F1 car. We have a Ferrari GT car, another 911, a GT40, another Evo 3, and if I squeeze through here, there's a little Lotus 7, a Toyota Corolla over there, a Ferrari 308 rally car, a 208 GTS, there's a freshly repainted and restored Hachiroku shell here. So there's just so much happening here. Restorations like the BB behind me. You know, this is a place where cars come in, get refreshed, get restored, get stored, get sold. I mean, it's basically everybody's dream. Every car guy's dream is to collect the cars that you kind of grew up wanting and, you know, picking up and being able to, you know, get them to a perfect state and either keeping them, enjoying them, or then maybe getting rid of them, because of course trading stuff is always fun. That's what we did as kids, right, with little model diecast. But you know, there's so much more to see. Let's keep going. The interesting stuff just does not stop. I don't know where to start here. Stingray right behind it, a Countach right next to it. This is going to be insane, guys. This is the Unisia JECS R33 JGTC race car. We'll have to open up the engine bay in this and just drool. Next to it, the Sumo Power R35 FIA GT race car. Where do I stop? 914 Porsche. And some older stuff here, like a Chevron race car. There's another Chevron here, the 355 in white. And so much other stuff, including even a classic Volkswagen Beetle. And as you probably noticed, there is an ungodly number of 2000 GTs, but this is especially very, very special because it is one of the few race cars that Toyota actually campaigned back in the day. Let's take a look from the front. So it's kind of being wrapped up because they have actually removed the engine, so that's being completely restored and refreshed. So probably one to keep for a second visit here. As we keep going, another 355, a couple of bikes, another wild race car here, which I'm not really too familiar with, 512 BB, and the storage we have here. All of this middle section here is basically stacks and stacks of spare parts, starting with rare wheels and tires for the race cars. We have some street tires. You can see some of the older ones that are really hard to find. I believe these old looking kind of like agricultural wheel and tire setup was actually used on the Williams F1 car when we were here last with Larry. just as kind of rollers to move the car around. We have another AZ1. Look at the amount of slicks and race wheels and tires. God, it's so sick. Bumpers, random shells. This is the GT4 rally car, the 328, or 308 rather. I'm not sure what this is. Just so much. Even an old Supra, tons of engine blocks, exhausts, just parts everywhere. This is a working workshop where stuff gets restored. Yet another 2000 GT, and of course, more 190s that probably will get converted. I even spy a little Subaru 360 right next to another 2000 GT.
However, if I had to choose one shoot that really will forever stay memorable for me, it has to be grabbing pictures of the 962C back in 2012 when it was driven on the streets for a Motorhead video. Morroy's car is one of the 6 Van Schupan road legal cars that were made back in the early 90s, the second prototype in fact, which received the special carbon tub, the race car cowls, and the 956 2.5 twin-turbo flat-six. The remaining cars, known as the 962CRs, all came with a much more curvier shell, round headlights, and the 3.3 liter motor. Parking it up at the local Family Mart and taking it out on the highway for a blast was so cool and a true career highlight.
So this 2002 Turbo is a very new addition that I have yet to see here at the Vantec collection. So good timing that we actually get to see this in all its glory. These cars are beautiful, such a nice condition as well. And I'm just gonna start uncovering cars and showing you guys, starting off with this 930 flat nose here. So the cool thing about the flat nose and Japan is that so many orders for these flat nose options came in at the time of the 930. So there's a pretty high number of these slant nose Porsches in Japan, much like the US, very popular there as well. You can get to see that beautiful metallic dark blue color, absolutely stunning. So cool. Of course, it has that massive turbo wing in the back, these side grilled intakes here, that really deep sill there, side step, and the vented front fenders. And strangely enough, it sits next to a Suzuki Jimny that has been widened and made to look like a G-Wagon. And from what I hear, it's not even a Liberty Walk conversion, it's a company from Italy. So as we move over from the flat nose turbo, we get into something equally as special. This is a Speedster. The cover off, you have to bear with me on this, but you can see how that glass is so much shorter than the regular cars. Factory roof chop, basically, without the roof. Convertible, of course. What a stunning thing. So one other car that is really famous and well known for being part of the Vantec collection is the 944 GTR. I actually did a shoot for O magazine on this car early in the year, and it was such a treat to kind of see this car in all its detail. Just love every little aspect of it, starting from the turbo fans and those crazy FRP over fenders. And as we kind of look at that, there's something I've never seen before. This is obviously a Japan-built Porsche, possibly, judging by the kind of TBK-inspired front bumper. Not really sure what's going on. But then we get to possibly one of my favorite cars here at the collection, the Decker DTM 190. So there you go, magically uncovered it for you. Every time I come here, I just drool over this car. It just represents an era of motorsports that was just so spot on. The kind of driving that was done in this series at this particular time will go down in history as, you know, it's basically the best of the best. Kind of started off that manufacturer race with creating these, you know, crazy sport saloons and sedans, creating something that to this day, you know, 30 years on, is still pretty much happening. There's a war between all the German manufacturers about creating really powerful road sedans and, of course, station wagons if you kind of bring Audi into it. And one more Mercedes to look at. This is also pretty cool. I never assumed that owning so many cars would be such a pain, because we just spent like half an hour just uncovering this area of the collection. So starting here with this black FD, kind of on delivery mileage, another beautiful Countach, and of course this is how they should be, honestly, without the rear spoiler, kind of bare. The original Gandini Bertone design, without that massive rear wing that kind of acts more of an air brake than anything else. But this is beautiful Countach 5000 4 valvole, and a very interesting color to say the least. Next to it, Lotus Europa, or Europa if you want to say it with an English accent. Some really nice Ferraris here, but this is in particular what you'll be seeing a lot of in this collection. Moroi has a bit of a fascination with the Ferrari 308 GT4 rally cars. There's a few of them around here in the collection. We'll be seeing a couple or more of these cars, and he's actually quite proficient in fixing them up and developing his own parts to kind of replicate what is no longer available. And then over here we have a GT40. This is body only. I'm not sure what this one is all about. This is a new one I have yet to see. The goodness continues with some kind of Ferrari Formula One chassis only, I believe. And this is the Mazda 767 body only. And this is only pretty much the only car in existence. There are no original 767 body cowls left. So he has the body. I'm not sure how he's gonna replicate the rest, or if he can, you know, source a chassis or something. But it's already a pretty cool addition here. You can see how it's probably been sitting outside for many, many years, or hanging on a wall. That orange has been completely discolored, but maybe it's probably better to just keep it like this. What an amazing thing to be sitting in front of. We have a little Mitsubishi three-wheeler truck, and next to it, one of my favorite Mercedes of the collection, along with that crazy Decker DTM car, is the AMG Hammer. And this is one car that Moroi has had for many, many years. And I remember him telling me that he actually dailied this for a number of years. What an absolute presence this car has. Probably noticed that I accidentally skipped over this Celica Supra XX at the very end here before the F1 car. Another cool body shape from Japan's vast history, and I just love these stock Toyota wheels. As we keep moving here, we find a Toyota 2000 GT, and again, there are many of these cars here at the collection. Absolutely crazy thing to be seeing, and in the sheer numbers that Moroi-san has, he loves these cars. We keep going because there's a little group of Nissans here that I want to look at, starting off with this Hakosuka race car, and right in front of it we have the street version, the KPGC 10 S20 powered box Skyline Hakosuka. Next to the two GTRs are a pair of S30 Fairlady Zs, one sitting on Steelies and one sitting on Watanabes. Check out the steelies on this thing, and the watts. And sitting right here in the middle is a pair of Formula Renault V6 single-seater race cars, sitting nicely alongside this beautiful Fiat Abarth 1000. Such a tiny little compact car. I love how the whole front section is basically a big cowl that opens forward, hinges forward. My God, so much goodness in this collection. It's absolutely mind-boggling. And I couldn't possibly pass the chance to uncover the 962C in all its glory. You can get a look at that really super long tail. Look how much it progresses past the rear wheels. Such a crazy looking thing. Get a look from the back. I can't believe we actually drove this thing on the street. It doesn't appear to have a number plate now. Maybe it's being deregistered, but seeing this at the Hakone Turnpike and actually on the Tohoku Expressway, which is not too far from here, that time we shot it for Motorhead, is something that will always stay in my mind. So with pretty much half of the collection done over on this side, it's time to move to this section here and indulge in some really amazing stuff. Starting off with this right here. As you can probably notice, this is a 2000 GT Toyota, but it has no roof, which means this is actually the car that was used by Sean Connery in the James Bond movie back in the 60s. And the reason they chopped the roof is because Sean Connery was too tall, couldn't fit in there. And believe me, these cars are absolutely tiny. I tried once, actually here, to get inside one, and I could barely get one leg in. So let me pull the cover so we can check it out. And there it is. Not drop top, because there is no top, I believe. I don't think there's anything that closes the roof. I don't see any latches or, you know, kind of buttons for a soft top. It is what it is. It's a roadster. A good way to get a look at the very classic design of the interior. And I'm getting flashbacks to the Rocky Auto 3000 GT that I got to drive early in the year down in Okazaki. What a beautiful thing. Right in front of it, another 2000 GT. I think we're up to 4 or 5 now. This is a light silver example. Beautiful car. Have a quick look from the front. Yeah, you get the idea. So the fascination with stocking up on AZ1 continues over on this corner. There are 4 here, 2 regular ones and 2 Mazda Speed ones. So the Mazda Speed ones actually have the integrated rear spoiler as well as a very different front end. You can see how the headlights have a kind of like a cowl around them, and I believe the center intake there is a little bit bigger than the one found on the stock street version. And here is another pairing. This one seems to have the Mazda Speed rear spoiler, but not the front, so maybe it was an option, I'm not sure. But the cool thing, aside from the fact that it's red and silver two-tone, it's sitting on tiny little CE 28s. I love these cars so much. And this silver one is actually sporting some over fenders and running on some long jumps. How cool. Yeah, there's a lot of insanely cool and rare stuff at the Vantec collection. And right in front of this Diablo GT is, guess what? Another 2000 GT. Another silver example. As I walk through this impossibly vast array of cars, I spot another rare gem from back in the day. And if you see the width and the chunkiness of these fenders, you will know that this is an STI 22B. Let's take a look from the back and enjoy all that girth. You don't get to see many of these anymore. They have become truly collector cars that have pretty much disappeared from circulation and get stored up in collections and traded around the world. Just amazing to see these kind of rare cars right in front of you. It all gets even cooler now. An Alpina B9 3.5. Let's uncover that front end so we can get a proper look. What a stunning car. That shark-like front is just so iconic. Look at the tilt of that grille. How aggressive is that? And of course, the turbofan wheels that now are so gigantic on modern day Alpinas. But they were just right on these older 80s cars. So let's keep moving. We have a 22B, we have a Spirit R FD, RX-7, and in front of it, a Ferrari 412. This is a very rare one. Not really something that did well for Ferrari, but strangely enough, I do see quite a lot of these in Japan. Of course, these were 2+2, kind of like coming after the 330 GT and then being revived with the FF about a decade back, decade and a bit. And of course, now the GT4 Lusso has been replaced by the Puro Sangue, kind of hinting the Ferrari owners really do enjoy having 4 seats in their cars. And next to it, unmistakable silhouette. Of course, this is a Corvette Stingray in that very orangey red compared to the Ferrari deeper red. The craziness continues with a very special Datsun Nissan. This is none other than the Fairlady Z 432. So this is the S30 generation of the Z that actually runs the GTR's S20 engine. So I actually figured out that this is a CMS race car. This is an Italian built car from Pisa. You can see the cabin in there. I'm not sure what engine they run. Very motorsport-like. Dry sump to V8 in here. There's a Sadev sequential back here, transaxle. And you know, judging by the dimensions, this is a pretty high downforce looking thing. You can see the rest of the body here, which is all glass fiber. Still needs delivery or to be painted. And you can see that it is actually raced earlier in the year, in June 2024, at the Vernasca Silver Flag. So I believe this may be Maserati powered. Crazy looking thing. So yeah, I basically had to come back to the number 3 Unisia JECS R33 JGTC car. This is a car that Hasemi Motorsport campaigned, and of course Mr. Hasemi was the #1 driver, with Tetsuya Tanaka driving as his second pilot. And what a legendary car this is. Amazing, amazing to see it here. Side exit, exhaust, and that gigantic wing back here, kind of highlighting the fact that, you know, in the mid-90s, the aero wasn't really that crazy, but they were beginning to really get into it. They started expanding, or rather pushing, the track of the cars with the pretty much last generation of the R32. The last year it was racing, it got wide body, and then once the 33 came into play, they kept pushing the width and pushing. And of course, the Supra JZA80 came into play to kind of fight off the GTRs around the mid-90s. Of course, Toyota first campaigning with Toms as a manufacturer-supported team, but then entering, you know, as a constructor a year or two later, doing away with the 2JZ. It was deemed too heavy for racing, and using the 3S, a very highly developed race version of the 3S, and that pretty much gained, you know, the victory that Toyota was after in the JGTC. So amazing period, amazing era of racing in Japan, and this was right there in the middle of it all. Absolutely incredible. Surprise, surprise, another 2000 GT, this time green. Nice little Mini, and a tiny, tiny little Mazda. What is this thing? I'm not even sure. So microscopic. Obviously weathered, and obviously in line to get a full restoration done. There's even an E30 BMW here, possibly a race car. 328 GTB in silver. That white 355 next to the white 2000 GT. What an insane collection. It really is something that you need to see up close to really fully comprehend and understand. But you know, it kind of goes to show, you know, the taste and the flavor that Moroi-san goes for. He likes a bit of everything. He's very much into his motorsport and those iconic cars that really made a difference. I can't seem to find the GT40 that was here last time when we shot with Larry for Haggerty. That was really interesting because it had a Sebring front and a Le Mans rear, so a really unique combination that made it look really, really cool. I'm sure it's hidden somewhere in here, but I can't find it, and Moroi-san may not make it today. He's busy with other stuff, but what an amazing place. And one thing I got to show you here is the fact that he's recently set up a paint booth, and he's even got a little autoclave where he can make his own carbon fiber parts. I actually just noticed that these two Harleys are tiny. I'm not really sure what's going on here, but they're kind of like a scaled down version of a Harley Davidson, and it says Ridley Sundance Edition here. Itsuko Special 570. A bit of everything here, and the 348. And after seeing the Mitsubishi three-wheeler in the main area of the collection, it only makes sense that Moroi-san also picked up a Daihatsu Midget K300. This is a very famous truck from back in the day. This is what made Japan pretty much recover after the war, you know. The war effort was basically all around getting people cheap and reliable cars to kind of use to reconstruct the country, get agriculture to pick up again. And the Midget was one of the most important ones. And I even spotted this room here. Another lineup of interesting cars. There's an old 560 SL here with the Auto Roman plate, an R34 GTR with a Nismo treatment, midnight purple 3 car, very, very rare color. And another interesting find is an AMC Gremlin, one of those weird hatchbacks from the mid-70s, I believe. Kind of known for having a very almost dangerous handling. Massive 6-cylinder engine up front, short wheelbase, no overhangs at the back, and kind of archaic suspension, making it slightly scary to throw around the corners. Again, there's a ton of parts here, engines, anything needed to kind of continue with the restorations that keep going on every day in the workshop area. An amazing place, and one I hope you really enjoyed kind of seeing with me and uncovering. I think, you know, there's still possibly another video in this whole collection as we kind of meet with Moroi-san in the future, maybe take out 1 or 2 cars and do proper features of them. As you can see, you know, the choice is endless. So again, I really hope you enjoyed this video. Don't forget to check dinodc.co, our merch store. That really helps us bring you content from Japan and, you know, kind of support the YouTube channel. And of course my Patreon. And don't forget, I also do have a second sub-channel called Only Dino. That's where I do most of the vlog posts that, you know, I get to kind of do here in Japan. So make sure you check that as well, and let me know what you thought and hit me up in the comments.